Hello, everyone. Welcome. Today is Monday, June 13th, 2022. I am Solid Blue Sister, and this is My Turn to Talk. Welcome, F1 Grid. Welcome, welcome. You are number one today. Hey, Frankie, you are number two. And we'll see who else wanders in. Hi, Cole. Welcome. You're number three. And let me see what's going on over there on Facebook. And welcome everyone who is on Facebook, or who are. Everyone who, let's see, Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. Welcome, welcome. Okay, I'm going to stop the music here. And we are going to get started. Let me just check one thing. Let me turn my phone down. All right. Okay, so today I want to talk about what is success. Welcome, Power Girl. What is success? Who determines success? A poor person can be just as successful as a rich person. And I guess I'm kind of continuing from last week's show when we were talking about choices and validation and just a lot of other things that popped up last week. But what is success? Is success determined by how much money you make, how many movies you make, how successful you are, how many fans you have, how much you've climbed that ladder at the job? Is success measured by, you've been married for 50 years and you're not divorced, so you know your success, you're a success, or you have a successful marriage? What is success and how is it determined? Who determines success? And I think that society puts a lot of pressure on people, um, to validate, here I go this word again, validate their success. Because you can have people who are just have no money at all, but they're happy. They have a family unit that is happy. Everyone, they rally around each other. But then you could have a lot of money and your family is never there. Welcome, Juju. Your family is never there. You have all this money that everybody's gimme, 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 give me. Not saying all. I'm just throwing a couple of things out there. That you have. Everybody wants a piece of the pie. But when it comes to rallying around family or whatever, they're gone. So, who determines success? Are you successful because you got straight A's in school as opposed to the person who got straight C's? Now you can say, well, an A is better than a C, yeah. But did that person who got straight A's, was there a lot of pressure from their family? Were they stressing out every time they got a B? Or was that person who brought home straight C's doing the best that they possibly could, and they still passed and they were happy? So again, what is success? Success for one person may not be success for another person, and vice versa, because we're all different. So, on that note, I'm going to open it up. Does anybody want to come up? If not, I understand. I'll just keep talking. And I think I have a group of, let's see, okay. So, and last week we were also, in terms of the success thing, not a problem grid. You know, last week when we were talking about validation, um, it also came up where, a couple people were saying that they think that people who don't work, they're lazy, they don't want to do this, they don't want to do this. Everyone can achieve something if they want. But then again, I still come back to, what is success? Who determines what success is? Is that homeless person who has a shopping cart full of things more successful than the person who doesn't have a shopping cart full of things, but they have shelter under the freeway? They have a spot under the freeway, out of the elements when it's raining, whatever, or the sun. Or if you live, somewhere where it snows and stuff, they have shelter from snow or whatever. So I don't, or should I change that word to, from success in a situation like that, to more fortunate? You know, who is more fortunate than another? That kid, at school, who seems to have everything. They have a car, they have all the, latest tech stuff. They wear really nice clothes, as opposed to the kid who sits across from him in homeroom. Um, uh, that kid takes the bus, or has to walk, or rides their bike to school. You know, uh, their parents don't drive a Tesla. You know, they're wearing last year's, clothes or styles, and they haven't received a new pair of shoes in 2 years. But that person comes from a family that loves them. They engage with them. They do things together. But this other rich kid, what if that person comes from a family where, okay, we're just going to give our kid this, and this, and this, but we're not going to pay attention to them. We're going to be off, doing our own thing. Who's the more fortunate? So those are the questions that I have. That's what I want to know. Who is more fortunate? Who is more successful? You know, um, let's see. Hey, Chris. Chris also over on YouTube. Thank you. So, but that's what those are the questions, that I'm asking. Who is more successful? And when you say things like, you know if someone only did this, then their life would be better. Really? Look at all the people who have won the lotto, and they had, you know happiness for just such a short time. Were they fortunate because they won the lotto? But then a lot of them, they go through their money. They have people who are gimmies, those family members that you haven't heard from in 20 years. All of a sudden, hey, cousin so and so, hey, aunt so and so, or uncle whatever, or grandpa Joe. They all of a sudden, they remember you. Mr. B, great times. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Still waiting on that email. Oh, so, but again, Who determines success? Can you tell me that you're more successful than me because you have more money? Is your kid, more successful, more fortunate than mine because he's coming to school, driving a Mercedes and mine's taking the bus? But my family unit is happier, while your kid's sitting at home at night eating by himself, where mine is sitting down with a family and we're talking and we're laughing. So that's what I want to know. Who determines success? Who determines how fortunate one person is over the other? Because societal norms, I'm pretty much getting sick and tired of what society thinks. So I don't know. Mr. B, welcome, welcome, welcome on this Monday. Do you want to add anything?
Yes, and by the way, I emailed you about a couple hours ago, ma'am. So,
Oh, okay. I stand corrected. I have not checked my
mhm.
email today. So everyone can hear I am admitting I am wrong. I apologize. Okay.
Oh, it's all good. But to add on to it, I think society does play a big role on it, but at the same time, it's on an individual. Meaning, when I was working a lot, I was never rich, but I had a lot of money. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
More money than I do now. But I was always working all the time. I had no time with the kids and very little time with my wife. And when I was home, I was too tired. So even if I was like at the park with them, I fell asleep. I was so tired. Um, so I decided to get a less paying job, and I'm not making as much as I was, but I'm not stressful as I am, and I'm spending more time with the family. So, but
So,
that's
would you
that's
say
important.
that some people may have looked at you like, dude, seriously, you're going to quit that job and you're making this amount of money just so you can spend more time with your family? I mean, do you think that there are people out there who would look at someone who made the decision that you did and think that you were crazy?
Yeah, of course. I had a couple people ask me that, like, wow, are you going to miss, the trips we used to take, or camping, and especially now how everything's going up so much more, you know. But my thing is, I don't need to explain nothing to anyone. Not much I may rude, but sometimes you gotta make decisions for yourself and not really worry about what the next person thinks. Because if you do, you can be miserable. But within a reason. But that's my approach on it. But on the second thing is I'm also doing other stuff. I'm more flexible. I can work on my store and I can actually start my food business. So those stuff takes time. But if I was always staying at my other job, I would never have time because I'm always working and working. Here's the thing: if you're not working on your own dreams, you're working for someone else's dreams.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
meaning you got a
No,
job. Go ahead.
no, I totally get it. I work for myself. I only answer to me. So I totally get it. I totally get it.
Yeah, and it's not easy. I mean, sometimes I miss my extra couple $100, here and there. But I'm praying, but I'm more happy than I am now. So just gotta have the determination to do what you need to do. But as far as like who judges you if you're successful or not, I think it's mostly on yourself, how you define yourself, identity.
But don't you think society can affect the way you do things? Meaning, what if you were that person who always wanted to open up a food truck? I'm saying food because
Mhm.
you mentioned food, okay? And
Right.
which a lot of food trucks are successful,
Hmm.
very successful, but it is hard work. So you're that person you've always wanted to do, always wanted to do it. You've been saving for it, and then when you really start planning it, you have those people who are in your ear, your family, your friends, whatever, saying, "Oh, how could you leave this job to drive a truck around to sell food, and this is not going to work. It's not going to work. Do
Right.
you think that societal pressures can make that person who had that dream think twice and stay on that job that they really don't want to be on, and just still wish that they had this truck when they can just say, screw everybody, I'm just going to do it?
Oh yeah, absolutely. It happens all the time. I mean, you hear about those people who've been working at the same job for 20, 30 years. Some people really want to do that. So I'm not knocking it. I'm not. I have some friends who've been working places for a long time. That's what they want to do. But I'm saying is the one that's like, man, I really should have done this. I should have done this. I wish. And, because they're scared. And
Mhm.
it's very scary to go something that's different. But with change, there's always will be a shift. So yeah, absolutely. If you listen to somebody uh, about something like that, yeah, there's always more reasons not to do something than a reason to do something. It's really very easy to make excuses. Very, very easy.
So, do you think that, okay, like 30 years ago, people retired with that gold watch at 50 years, or
Yeah.
people stayed, you worked in at Ford Motor Company, then your son worked there, and then your grandkids worked there. Why do you think that we're not seeing the generational, um uh I guess, jobs anymore, where people are willing to stay? Is it because that people see that their success is within their reach now, as opposed to 30, 40 years ago? It was just a
One
different
minute.
time.
Yes.
This girl says she keeps trying to call you, but your voicemail is full.
Okay. I talked to this person already. All right.
So she needs something. She says the voicemail is full, so they can't get the message.
All right. All right. I'll call back. Hello.
Yep, we are still here.
Yeah. I have to go, but I'll be back.
Okay, all right. Okay, so Juju says, yeah, that's okay, Juju. That is fine. All right, so but listen to what Mr. B said. I mean, how many people do you think are willing to actually take that step and take a less paying job, less money coming in, uh, to be with their family? I call that success. If you're around the people that you love, you're doing the things that you like to do, you have less stress. To me, that's success. Welcome, trying cat. So why do we have to, or why do people um bend to societal norms and what society thinks, when you're trying to do your own thing, and you may feel that you're successful but other people don't? I mean, what if you're that person who enjoys working outside or working with their hands, or you want to have a trade, but your father was a doctor or something, and he wants you to be this doctor, and you're like, no, I want to be a mechanic, and I want to work on cars. Are you missing the opportunity to be quote unquote successful? You know, uh, uh, just because you decided to go your own way that may not make you as much money as someone else? I don't know. You know, and again, that's society pops in and tells you what you should and should not do. So at what point, you know, do we as a society tell society to mind their own business so I can get down to business? So I don't know. When you look at success over the years and you look back at your own life, okay, are you measuring your success against someone else's, against your friends, against your teachers, against your neighbor next door? Are you looking at someone's house and you're saying, well, they live in a bigger house than I do, so they must be more successful? I don't think so, because those people have, more than likely, they have their mortgages is more. you know, you can go ahead, you can drive around in the newest car all you want to, but I look back at myself, my car is paid off. I don't have a car note, have not had a car note for quite some time, and I'm not looking to get another one. For me, that is success. For me, that's being more fortunate, uh uh because I don't have to worry about that additional bill. So when you are measuring success, how many people are looking at um, other people? You know, when your child goes to school and they have the latest iPhone, or the latest, iPad, or they're walking around with this, or they have that, or they have, they're wearing this on their feet. But you look at those people and you wonder, how happy are those people? How happy are those kids? Yeah, you're happy that you're wearing this and this and this, but we can't measure success. We can't compare our success to other people, because if you did, and if we do, we would constantly be chasing what other people have as opposed to what we want and what would make us happy. But that's my own personal opinion. You know, so many people out there have missed opportunities because they're so busy doing and conforming to what other people have told them. And I'm going to include family. We were talking about this a little bit last week, that we're so busy conforming to what other people want, um, what they like, what they think is best for us, instead of us doing our own thing and knowing what is best for us. That we miss out on opportunities, that people have let opportunities go because they're so busy trying to take care of someone else. And when I say take care of someone else, I don't mean that, if you have a sick parent or, whatever. I'm talking about that you're more worried about their feelings. How are they going to feel? They're not going to be happy. They're going to be lonely. How many people have passed up opportunities for their own success, because they're worried about, oh, well, if I leave, they won't be happy. But if you stay, are you going to be happy? You know, you pass up that opportunity that could, for your own success 20 years later. Are you going to be looking back saying, I wish I coulda, woulda, shoulda? There are a lot of people like that. A lot of people like that. A lot of people like that. So I guess it all depends upon how people want to live their lives. What do people want to do? What are you going to do to obtain the success that you desire without worrying about what society is going to say? So, anybody have anything? Let's see. Let's look at the chat. Okay. Y'all gonna make me work again today, huh? Hey, Doss. Welcome, welcome. So again, just going back to some of the things that we were talking about last week in terms of success. I look at when people say things like, people don't want to work because they're lazy. People don't want to do this. Everybody can make it if they want to. But what is your version of making it? Again, someone's version of making it could be, they become a TikTok star, and they're making, like we were talking last week, they're making $100,000 a month, and there are some TikTokers that make that kind of money. So, am I gonna let that? Opportunity pass me by to go work in retail where I'm getting to $10 an hour? Are you going to look down on me because this is what I chose to do, but I'm making this money? I'm being successful. Welcome, Shy Lady. So again, who determines success? What is success? And I also would like to know is if someone is more fortunate, is that the same thing as being more successful? So is success and being fortunate, do those words kind of tie in? Do they kind of tie in? Doss says, my arrival was a success. Yes, Doss, it was. You successfully made it to the show. So, come on. When you look at, and again, I'm pulling on what we were talking about last week. When you look at the Kardashians, number one, were they fortunate? Number two, do you consider them successful? No matter what you think of them, do you consider them fortunate and successful? And are they wrong in terms of how um, they got their success? Now, if social media were not around, with a lot of the people who are on TikTok, of course, all these people would not be there because we would not have the Kardashians and some of these other people. But can you say one person's success is better than the other? Welcome, Alpha Mike. Can you say that? Can you say that one person's success is better than the others in terms of what they're doing? Is being and I'm going to ask again, is being a doctor more successful than being an internet celebrity or whatever you want to call them? But you're both making a lot of money. You're both able to pay the bills. You're both able to put food on the table and shoes on your kids' feet. Is one more successful than the other just because of one has a particular title and the other one has that title? I am doing fine, Alpha Mike. I am doing fine. Hey, Shy Lady, you want to come up and you want to say something? Welcome, welcome.
Hey, Solid, and everyone else on the show. Always a pleasure. Um, I want to say, I don't know if you heard of this young lady, but there was a young lady who was a correspondence for Extra. In my eyes, she was successful. She was beautiful. She's she had a law degree. She was a former Miss America. Her name was Chesley Christ. And in my eyes, she was successful because of those, former things that I mentioned. But she committed suicide and she was only like 29, 30 years old. And from what I've read, interviews by her mother, she suffered from depression. So, in some people's eyes, we may think it's success, but in others, they're not. I mean, I'm just like I just felt so bad for this her mother, and the fact that I don't know if she was caught up in social media, but I understand that she was struggling with dealing with the fact that she was approaching 30. Now, I don't know if she was in like a relationship. There was no mention of her being in a serious relationship, but she apparently, in my opinion, had accomplished a lot. She was living in an apartment, condo, or whatever in Manhattan, on TV every day. And I just thought to myself, what could a beautiful young lady like that be so depressed about that she would take her own life? So I think success is relative because there are some people who are, the way they are. Um, she came up from Mississippi, in the 1940s, and she felt happy and just ecstatic because she wanted to live to see her children graduate from high school. She came up really hard. She came from sharecropping, and that was success to her. Success was her seeing her children graduate from high school. Unfortunately, she didn't see them go on to become doctors, and well, her grandchildren become doctors, and her own children get master's degrees. She didn't live long enough to see that, but she was content with her life. She was content. So there are some people who are very happy, even though in our eyes they may not have a lot of money financially, but they're successful in being a blessing to others. So I think it's kind of relative. But going to your question about the Kardashians, um, I think they're successfully financially. I don't know how happy they are in their personal lives, but financially looking, they appear to be successful. So,
Well, it's interesting that you say that because what you said, I basically said at the beginning of the show that you can have all the money in the world, or from the people from on the outside looking in, you have the success, but you are not happy. You can have that, that poor person who they may not have everything, and they may have to scrape and scrap to live by, but their family is intact and they are happy, as opposed to that rich person who has this and this and this. And to me, you're always going to question, every time you go out, are your friends going to expect you to pay for it? And when you do pay for it, are they using you, as opposed to people who know that you don't have any money, so they're not going to ask you, but you're still going out and you're having a good time. So you're right, success, it's relative to that person.
and I want to add this. You remember Robin Williams as well,
Yes.
and the designer. I think what was her name? The one with the purses. Kate. She had a bunch of. She was known for. I can't think of Kate. Is it Kate Spade? She committed suicide as well.
I'm not sure about that one.
Yeah, it was. I think it was her. Somebody may be familiar with her on the panel, may know, but it's success is relative. I think to that person.
But but if you look at with Robin Williams, you look at someone who, and again, this is society. Society is looking at him being this person that when he's on TV or interviews and stuff, he's making everybody laugh. He's this and this and this. But when he is at home behind closed doors, he's this really depressed, sad person. So, and that's why I always say that when you look at someone and their life, you don't know, there's so many layers. You don't know what someone is going through. You don't know what someone's doing. And with the Kardashians, I think you're absolutely right. Alpha Mike says, I can't stand the Kardashians. Why do we make stupid people rich? But are they stupid, or are the people who are supporting them stupid? Because they're rich. They put out a line of clothes and stuff. If you're going and you're one of those people who are buying their clothing line or whatever they have, are they the stupid ones? Or are the people who are buying them, are they the stupid ones? So Charlie, I want to ask you, since you're the only one up on the panel right now. Uh when I said between success, being successful, and being fortunate, do you see those two words kind of the same or different?
Um, I say I'm kind of different because I think sometimes with success, people kind of have steps. They plan for it in a lot of cases, and sometimes fortunate, you just may happen to be in a situation where um, you have a boss that leaves and another one comes in and step in and happen to like you, and they like they see all your good qualities, whereas the other boss tore you apart. But this one say, you know what, I see you, I like what you're doing, and you just get moved up the ladder. I know people that has happened to, people like that. To me, that's kind of like fortunate, because they really didn't see that coming. But again, like I said, with success, a lot of times people don't see that either. But most of the time, when people are successful, they kind of sort of plan it. People that say, "Hey, I'm going to go to this school and get this degree. I'm going to go to law school or whatever." They become a partner or whatever, if they're passionate about it, and they become very successful. I think that's not really fortunate. I think it's kind of like, a planned out type of thing.
Okay. All right. Mr. Chill Will, Sweet Willie is here. Hello, hello. How are you?
Hey y'all. Let me turn my AC down so I don't know it's very loud. Yeah, so what's up everybody? Happy to see your faces and smiles. And yeah, absolutely fortune follows the what's the word? What's that quote? Say the quote, somebody knows it. Fortune follows a fortune whatever. When you're active, when you busy, the right kind of busy, the right kind of productive, fortune can follow you because you out there making things happen. So I think that goes hand in hand. It's a different kind of fortune, but it goes hand in
Okay,
hand.
not fortune, fortunate.
Yeah, yeah. That's same fortunate, fortune. You're fortunate. You're
Okay,
fortunate
all right,
because I'm out there. If I'm trying to make things happen and I'm meeting people, I'm meeting success, and I'm gaining successes, and because that's how you gain successes. Depending on what you define as success. I mean, there's several different ways. Obviously, I haven't visited that yet. But if you're doing what you feel like, I don't know, a movie director or something, like you want to be a movie director one day and you're on set and you kind of like the utility guy or assistant, and you're around that and you're the best assistant. Then you go from assistant to prop manager or whatever. And you meeting these people, you're in the game, so you're fortunate because you're in it and you're being productive. That happens. That doesn't happen by mistake. I mean, maybe we see it not coming because we're not, we can't tell the future, but it's happening because you're in your space. I don't know if you ever read The Alchemist. I actually read that's a good. I don't know, have anybody in here ever read The Alchemist by Paulo Coelho, I believe his name.
no,
Y'all should
I
read it.
personally haven't.
You should definitely. I think everybody should read it. Is basically a book about omens
I
and
am
and
writing it
how
down.
how a young man was walking in his path in his step, and he was listening to the earth or the universe in general, the omens, and how he moved, and when you put yourself in the path of whatever you want to do and you become successful, things start to happen that you can't even see, and then that's a real thing. That's what I deem successful. Whatever you want to do outside in whatever you think you feel like you want to do, you want to set to accomplish, and you go out and do it. That's success. If you want to be a good home mom and you're the hell of a home mom, that's admirable. Do that because that's one of the hardest jobs in the world. Or dad, if you want me to not be sexist about it, whatever you want to do, if you do it, you do it well, and even if you can maintain your integrity and be a good person, that's even 10 times better while doing it. That's awesome. So, it doesn't have to necessarily be money. Obviously, everybody equates that with success. I mean, that's not my litmus, but most people would say, they follow great people, get money and fame, and that comes with it. But I don't think that's necessarily successful. It can be a hindrance, especially when people take their
Well,
life
let
or get
me
addicted to drugs.
well
But
let
yeah,
let me ask this. Okay, so Alpha Mike says the guy who invented the pet rock, they were smart. Let's give them a TV show. Now, when the pet rock came out, um, you know, people were buying it. People were buying pet rocks as opposed to going out in their backyard and picking up a rock and bringing it in the house and calling it Joe or Spot, whatever. So, was the person who and Jill, this is for you. So, the person who invented the pet rock, were they successful or were they fortunate or were they lucky? But you look at the pet rock, you look at the mood ring, you look at the chia pet and so many other things that have made people money. And the chia pet has been around for almost 40 years. Is that luck? Is it success? Are they fortunate? What is it?
okay, so I deem that as a little bit of everything. You can be everything. Like that's what I'm saying. So if you're on the grind, you can get lucky. Damn, if I would, but if you wasn't on the grind, you gonna be lucky. If you can't score no points if you ain't in the game. You ain't, you know what I'm saying. So my point is that if you're trying, you tend to be lucky. You're putting yourself in those positions to be lucky. So therefore, it's not necessarily a mistake. Um, I think, and I don't know the pet rock thing. Like it's probably got to be. I'm thinking pet rock is probably something you can rub on or something that relaxes you or something like that.
No, it
It's got
was
to be.
literally, it came out in the 70s. It was literally a rock. It was literally a
Was it
rock.
like a smooth type of rock that you can probably like,
It
or
was
they had
a
a?
chill. I'm telling you, it was a rock. You and when you go to buy it, they were like they had them by like the cash register when you were checking out, and you sorted through and you picked up the rock that you wanted to. That's why I said instead of going into your backyard and getting the rock and calling it Spot, people would go out and spend like $2.99 or whatever it was on this rock. It was a rock.
Man, that's crazy. So what you would do basically in that situation, how can you not call that guy successful? Like if you sell a water to the damn well, like that's the, that's the definition of success. If you put a water that's readily available out your faucet and you put it in the store and people buy it, that's successful. You know what I'm
It
saying?
is.
Because
It is. This is
that,
what I'm saying.
you
This
know.
is what I'm saying. So
So if
when
if I tried to set out to do this and I made a multi-million-dollar business out of it, that's business is tangible because you're trying to make money when it comes to business. So I mean that
you
that
are
would be considered successful. You know,
okay, now Alpha Mike also says, I want to be successful by working at home, living in a van so I can travel and work from anywhere. Okay.
you need my job, then,
That
Malcolm
guy
Mike.
says, look up Chia Head or Chia Pet, that guy. And then Alpha Mike says, hey, there's a girl from TikTok who sold her bathwater and people bought it. So why am I broke? What the F? You know, and that guy says it's pandering to apartment people who wish they had a green thumb. But regardless, the Chia Pet is successful. It has been on the market for 40 years and people are still buying it. People aren't as dumb as they used to be. Too many smart people on the internet post facts or assumptions. Yeah, that guy, but you still have the people, like Mike says, who sold her bath water. And then you have to wonder, was it really her bath water? Or did she just go to the kitchen sink and fill up a jar and mail it? I mean, so can you be upset with these people? Can you be upset with people who, whatever reason, that they're making money, they are successful, as opposed to the people who, you're a doctor, you go to med school, you're an attorney, you go to law school, you're doing this, you went to take this test or that test, and you're doing all this, but here's this person selling their bathwater, and people are buying it. So are they the stupid ones, like I said, or the people who are supporting them? So, Shy Lady, I'm going to ask you if you want to respond to anything that's in the chat or anything that Jill said. You there, Shy Lady? Okay, she said,
Hey, I'm here.
okay, you're here, you're here. Okay. So, did you hear what Jill said?
Unfortunately, most of that I did not.
That's okay. You told me you were running errands.
Hmm.
So, I mean, again, the chia pets and the pet rocks and what have you, are those people successful in their own right? I mean, they decided that's what they were going to do. People bought it. Are they successful in their own right? And should you look down on people who, the person who had the pet rock?
I think they're successful if they've achieved what most Americans haven't. If you're talking about financially, I think if you're part of the 1%, then that's success. In most people's situations, that's success if you're part of the 1%. But there are some people who aren't part of the 1%. Like I never forget the story my husband told me about a man who he rode back in the day when they were sharing limo rides from the airport. There was a CEO of a company who was going to his brother, who was a mechanic, who's going to his house for Thanksgiving, and his own family. He had given his kids cars and fancy cars and greatest educations, but he was never around. And he told my husband, if I had to do it all over again, I would choose a life like my brother, who was a mechanic, but all his kids were together, his grandkids, they were all together for Thanksgiving. So again, it's relative. There's a lot of people with plenty of money that are very miserable.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Lots of them,
Mm-hmm.
just miserable.
Now that guy says the guy who invented Tetris made $240 off of it. Copyright laws didn't exist in Russia. Bill Gates heard about him, felt sorry for him, gave him a job for $360,000 a year, consulting for 20 minutes a week. Say what you will about Bill Gates' king move. Um, and yes, head, not pet. Okay, you're referring to what I asked you. Okay, and then the guy from Instagram made money by not even saying a word. He just moved his hands. I mean, you just can't be mad at people because other people buy into some of the silly things that you're doing. I mean, I think, Boz said last week about, someone on TikTok, they have all these views from sleeping. People are watching these people sleep. Seriously? So again, who determines success? Is it society? Is it us? I mean, who determines how successful you are? Because for me, I determine my own success. I don't care what other people think of whether I'm doing something right, doing something wrong. In the end, it's going to be on me. In the end, I have to be satisfied with what I'm doing. So,
You
uh,
know, I
Shy
want to
Lady?
add this solid. If I'm sorry to interrupt, but there's a scripture in the Bible that says that God reigns on the just and the unjust. And there's some people who work their butts off their whole lives and they don't achieve, what most people would call success financially. And then there's people like a lot of these TikTokers who copy other people's dance moves or people that lip sync to other people's song and they're famous. They didn't even create the original. They're just lip syncing. And it's like I can't be mad because if God allowed them to be successful financially, hey, well, who am I? What am I to say? So, It's like people who win the lottery. It's some people that been playing for 20, 30 years and never win. Spend $100 every week. Then a person that do a scratch off that maybe played once get 30 million. Can't be mad. It's the way it is.
It is. It is. So let me ask this. This is for the people. It's for everyone. But since Shilene and Chill are up here, I'm going to ask them to respond. But I would like for you all to respond in the chat. So before you guys came on, I was talking about people who win the lotto, and you know, a lot of people who win, they end up within a year or two, depending upon how much money they make, they end up broke because you have those people who are gimme, 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 or they just did not manage their money. Okay, you buy that mansion, but you also got to pay taxes. You also got to pay the upkeep. You got to. There's so much. Again, I always say there's always layers to everything. So, do you think that when you win the lotto, like Shiley just said, some people do a scratch off and they win. Other people spend, $100 a week for 20 years and they never win. Is that success or is that fortunate? And if you win the lotto and you invest your money well and you're able to live off that money, whatever, are you successful? So I guess I'm asking first is, are you successful or fortunate when you win the lotto? And the second question is, if you're able to do something with it, are you considered a success?
Is there any particular order? Chill or me?
Well, if I won, let's say I won 60 million, okay, and I was able to, I didn't lose it, and 5 years later, I'm still living off that 60, $1 million. Am I considered a success by society or am I considered fortunate?
I think you consider that success by society.
Even though I won this money, but I didn't
Mm-hmm.
work for it, I didn't dance for it, I didn't sleep for it,
You're
whatever.
a success for the mere fact that you've held on to it.
So I wouldn't be fortunate that I held on to it or lucky that I held into it.
I, in my opinion, you wouldn't. That's a strategy. If you
Okay.
win money like that and you take the time to invest it and to make sure it goes the right way, that to me is a strategy. So that's more being successful than fortunate. Because a lot of,
Okay.
like you say, a lot of people lose that money if you
Mm-hmm.
don't have a strategy to take that money and move it into vehicles that can grow. Then you've planned that. That's a success. It's a lot of people that make a lot of money, but they at the you can look at people who've worked 30, 40 years, and some of them could have been millionaires, but they didn't have a strategy to plan to move that money where it could work for them. So, and that's unfortunate. That's not success. That's unfortunate. Unfortunately, they didn't take advantage of the opportunity that they had.
Okay. All right. Chill. You wanna jump in or you there?
Yeah, my bad. I was parking. Um, so yeah, any kind of like, I mean, when you win the lotteries, that can be considered luck. That's definitely can be if anything could be considered luck, that's luck. But if you hold on and you make something out of it, that's definitely a strategy, or that's like Charlotte said, that's not luck anymore. You especially if you made more money, if you successfully maintained that lifestyle until you pass, you know, and I, but this thing about this is that can be bad luck too for some. And like us, like you said, the people who get broke in a couple of years. Think about how the mental state you got to be in to lose something like that, and then for the rest of your life. You know what mental state a person like that'll be in. And obviously, if you're playing a lotto, you value money, finances to some degree. Maybe not. Maybe get just did it on a whim, but typically, if you gauge the success as having money, you can be in a horrible mental state after losing something like that. So it's not necessarily a good thing. You're not successful in that right. I mean, but like you say, for instance, you say you're successful, and that's great. But I guarantee you, there's plenty of people that say, "Oh, you're not successful as me, so you're not." So it's really a debate to be had, as far as who gauges success. You can be comfortable in yourself, and I can be successful at being me. But at the end of the day, there's always somebody looking down on you, like, look at you, ain't got nothing. You know what I'm saying? You ain't me. You know what I mean? So there's people. So it's really that's the key of the world, kind of navigating through all that mess and still coming out on top or respectable. And I think most people understand, you got tangible and intangible. And I would much rather be that mechanic than like that rich guy with no friends. But a lot of times they get warnings. They set themselves up for that, and they have to bask in their glory, but also in their loneliness because of what they chose to the life they chose to live. And you reap what you sow. And so now when it's happening, they feel sorry for themselves. They regret it. But it's not like we don't have, like I said, that book, like omens along the way, saying, hey, you know what? You probably want to, pay attention to this. I got a friend like that. He works all the time, and I always tell him you got to slow down, put some effort into your family. End up getting divorced, you know what I'm saying? But he's gonna be that guy. I can tell you, like right now, he's gonna be, well, oh, this is one of them guys after you can't work no more because it's whatever the case may be. His kids don't really like him. Ain't gonna be around him. I mean, they love you, but they don't like you, and so that's the thing that I think is important. What goes along with success is you got to have some relationships because you can't, even if especially money, you can't have it and you have it and then no one share it with nobody. You know what I'm saying? Or at least good times. Like I know it's people that's going, I gotta pay for. Period. When I go out, I know it's people every single time I gotta pay for them. Now they ain't gonna go out every single time because I don't feel like paying for them. But at the end of the day, I know if they had it, they would do the same for me. But the thing is, they never gonna have it because so I don't it ain't no thing to me. I don't hold it against them. But when it's time for a family gathering and everybody needs to eat, everybody needs to get fed, everybody needs to get tickets to go. Listen, I'm not worried about what you can give me. I just want everybody to have a good time. So I'm gonna pay for it and let's go. I ain't thinking about the price. I already probably got in my head what I was probably gonna spend. And so long as I'm staying around budget, I'm good. Let's go. So you don't worry about those things. And that's a success as well. You know what I'm saying? It's more than just money, right? Um, Respect from your peers and your family. That's success. Because with that can come all the money and riches to some degree. You can be influential and people give you money if you're influential enough, if you're doing good out here enough, you know.
I want to ask you a question about family, but I want to read a couple of these comments real quick. That guy says to Alpha Mike, um, Mike, Rod Van Winkle, who is Vanilla Ice's rare, he invested his money wisely and was home flipping in the 90s. He's still rich 25 years later after his only hit. Alpha Mike says, if I won the lotto, I invest in some real estate, make some Airbnbs. That guy says, true story. A guy won $50,000 in state lotto, bought 50,000 in Powerball tickets and lost. Wouldn't have done that. Almost completely lost. One number got him 40 bucks. Okay.
Hey, damn, you
Uh,
don't need to win the lotto to make some Airbnbs. Whoever said that, you don't need to win the lotto to make some Airbnbs. You can do that. You can rent a space and make it an Airbnb. So just tidbit.
okay. And Juju, yes, I know you are with your niece. And okay, so let's talk about family and success because again, I ask, how much does your family determine whether or not you're going to be successful? I mean, and I say that by I think of Louis Anderson, the comic, and I remember when he was on Oprah. This is probably about 15, 20 years ago, because I think she's been off for about 10 years. But anyway, Louis Anderson said that the only time his family was in the audience, they were on the front row. And he said the only time his family comes around him is when they want something. Whenever they want money, whenever, his nieces and nephews would never call, just to see how he's doing, say, hey, uncle, whatever, what's up. It was always, well, I need a new car, or my tuition's due, or this, and this, and this. And his brother and sister who were sitting there saying, and Oprah was asking me, do you all do this? And they said they expect him to do it. He's supposed to do it. So how much does your family tie into your success? How much, how much are you obligated to help your family? Because I'm like, if you have a family that truly says thank you and they're grateful, I say help them all you want to. But if you have family that are leeches and the only time they're going to call me is when they want something, I don't care if they're mother, brother, father, whatever, gotta go. And that may seem harsh, but again, how much does your family determine how successful you're going to be, or once you have that success, if you're going to remain successful? So, Chill or Shy Lady? Anybody? Hey, Lou Rock. I'm sorry, I missed you there. I was talking, and welcome, DMAC. Okay, it's called a transactional relationship. Yes, that guy. It is. It is. It is. If the only way that I'm going to be, you're going to be in my life is if I'm giving you something, or if I'm taking something. I mean, it just doesn't make sense. Um, Chill, from that guy to Chill. That guy is saying, uh, I got a neighbor that, with, I'm assuming you mean with Airbnbs, he hates all the neighbors complain and every other person trashes the house. And this is, yeah, you have to be careful with the Airbnbs. At this point, with all the problems that people have had with Airbnbs, I say just tell them to go stay in a hotel
Yeah, what up, Lou? What up, everybody? I'm sorry I didn't say bye.
and call it a day. So just stay in a hotel. So Chill. What do you think about what I just said about the family and the and them being leeches, or how successful your family
I mean,
can make or break you?
that's you if you let them break you. You shouldn't let nobody break you. And I feel like that's one of the gauges. Like, hopefully, we had that kind of like, and it could stick to it. Because you can have the proper raising, you had a proper everything. But will you follow through when adversity hits? And so sometimes you need hard times to kind of fall to your face a couple times and say, you know what? I learned, I know better, I'm gonna do better. Hopefully you don't lose everything, or get a life changing experience where you can't bounce back from when it happens. But it's just life and learning, and hopefully be prepared for that. Some people don't, like the MC Hammers of the world, but still he's still doing good. You know what I'm saying? So you hear all the stories about people losing it or not working right. Uh, but it just depends on you know
No, I'm
your
talking about
wherewithal.
the family members who only show up when they want something. That's what I mean when I say they can either make you, or they can break you in terms of your success. Those family members that only show up when they have their hand out.
Well, those people, I mean, you just don't deal with, right? You don't deal with it at all. I don't deal with that. I mean, if that's the case, I mean, sometimes you will. Like I said, if it's just a family engagement, yeah, I'm gonna pull out my wallet, and I know they just want something, but it's okay because it's all about the family at that point. But most times those people ain't in your life. I mean, I don't need validation. I think people who need validation, you know, or if some they got a hold on you. If you got a parent or mom that's making you feel guilty, or it's just your mom, you feel like you owe it to her. That's when you kind of like have that type of people, them type of people around.
Hmm. Interesting. Okay. Shy lady? Okay. Waiting for Shy Lady to come if she's there. Alpha Mike says, what about people who are broke and still putting themselves into debt buying nonsense things they don't need? Exactly, Alpha Mike. I mean, these people who are broke and still broke, and yes, and but they're still coming to you to bail them out, but yet they're consistently broke. It's like, at what point do you cut these people off? Because to me, they're messing with your success. Slap their hand away. Oh boy. So I don't know, y'all. Uh you look at success and you look at society, and to me society has a lot of sway on how successful you are going to be, because you always have that person or someone, or big brother, whomever, looking over your shoulder saying, you shouldn't do that, you shouldn't do that. Maybe you should do this, you'll be more successful if you did that. And I say that whatever makes you happy, wherever your road to success takes you, that is where you have to go. If you have to cut some people off, you have to cut some people off. But don't let an opportunity pass you up because somebody is saying, you shouldn't do that. Yes, you should consider all types of things, but if you have a dream that you've been going after, go for it. I mean, because unless you try, you'll never know if it works. And if it didn't, okay, move on. Or try again. Maybe you need to look at it from a different approach. But I would not let society tell me what I should or should not do. Um, Word up, cut them all off. You know, and Shiley, you agree with me. I mean, seriously, because I have been around people who, it's like every time you want to do something, they're telling you, no, you shouldn't do it. You shouldn't do that, or you shouldn't do that. If I listened to every time someone told me I shouldn't do something, I literally would just be sitting at home with my door closed, sitting in the dark, watching soap operas. I mean, do they have soap operas anymore? I mean, seriously, doing nothing. You know, um, People reinvent themselves so many times until one day something works for them. And again, it's up to you. Shy lady, are you back?
Yeah, I'm back. I'm just running car.
So you want to comment on anything?
Hello, hello.
I can hear you. Hear you.
Okay, yeah, I'm back.
So did you want to add anything?
Oh no, I'm just listening. Just listening. I
Oh,
agree with
okay.
what you said though. When you were talking earlier, I agree definitely with what you said about success. So, no, just listening. As
Okay.
always, like listening to other people's comments.
Okay. That guy says to Alpha Mike, is absurd to me when people go into debt for a fancy wedding. What a terrible thing to do to relationships so they can feel like royalty for a day. You know, that guy with the wedding thing, I did not have a big wedding, but I did get married where I wanted to get married. And I had a choice between doing A or doing B, and I chose B. I do think spending money on a wedding is a waste of money, but at the same time, supposedly you only get married once. Um, and I guess if you have the money to spend for a wedding and to go all out, then do it. But if you're saving your money, you're spending, you're going all out for that wedding, I would say have a small one and then save that money for a house or for something else, something that's going to be tangible that you can still use and see, a year from now, 2 years from now, 10 years from now. So let's see. Alpha Mike responds, yeah, thousands on a wedding and then they end up getting divorced in one day for a lot of money. Yeah. So I mean, when you look at what people spend their money on, but it's something that they want versus need, and then it also separates the haves or the have nots. Your daughter may want that fairy tale wedding with that dress. When my neighbor got married, at the time I thought it was expensive. It still is. Spent $10,000 on a wedding dress. She and her husband, they are still married. But $10,000, I could have used that money in something else. You know. So I don't know. You know, and then that's another thing with success. Are you splitting between the haves or the have-nots? Are the have-nots less successful than the haves just because the haves have money? But as we were talking about it, you can be as rich as whatever and rich as, Bill Gates or whomever, and be miserable, or you could be poor as a church mouse and be one of the happiest people ever. So let's see. Alpha Mike says it's the fact of people spending money on fancy things to keep up an image for others around them when they're broke. Use your money wiser. Kaya Swarheim, welcome, says money is something. That guy says I can almost understand a cruise. That's a week of vacation for thousands. I would not spend money on a cruise. Nope. Understand. Alpha Mike says minimalist living is hard on the economy. It is. But if that's all you can afford, if that's all you can do, and if you want to save your money as opposed to spend it, I say save it. Don't, I understand about the economy and stuff, but we can't sit up here and let society dictate how we're going to spend our money either. If you want to save it, save it. And the economy is screwed either way. Exactly. That guy says an old Arabic tale has the choice. Would you rather be poor with 12 beautiful wives or rich with one? I would rather be rich with one, because with those 12, you're always going to have 12 or 11 additional headaches. And that would go for 12 handsome husbands or whatever. You're going to have 11 additional problems. Those stimulus checks were pointless since now they raise prices on everything in order to get their money back. Yeah, but everybody took those stimulus checks when they were out, right? People had their hand out. Those stimulus checks, people wanted them. Everybody was like, "Did you get your check? Did you get your check? Did you get your check?" People wanted them. Now everybody's going, "Oh no, we shouldn't have done it." But people had their hand out for them. Okay, that guy says lesbian. Just kidding. I don't know who you're talking about. That guy. I don't know who you're talking about, but me. Are you asking me if I'm a lesbian? Joke failed. I guess so, because I didn't get it. And no, I am not. I am married. Even though that might not mean something to some people, but no, I am not. So I totally missed a joke on that one. Let's see, is that the end? Okay, so yeah, so anybody else want to say anything? If not, I'm gonna wrap it up. I'll let Shy Lady, if you want to give your last words, and then I will go to you.
Um, I think success is relative, and what to me, if you're doing something that you're happy with, then that's success. If you're happy with it, that's success. It doesn't have to have a dollar amount, but if you're actually happy, you're successful. It's my
Okay.
thing.
All right. Chill. Chill, are you there? Okay, well, I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up, and I'm going to thank everyone who came today. DMAC, that guy, Alpha Mike, Crucible, Chill, Shy Lady. I know Juju was here. Power Girl, Frankie, and Heiko was here earlier, and Mr. B was also up on the panel earlier. So thank you guys all for coming. I hope to see you tomorrow, and until then, go where the wind takes you. Bye. That guy says I'm too sassy for voice chat. Bye, Chill. You're here. Well, Chill, if you wanted to come up, should say something. If you want to come up, that guy, you can come up. I would never give you a hard time, Chill. And thank you for everyone who showed up on YouTube and Facebook. And if you were watching on Twitter, thank you, thank you. Okay, y'all, so enjoy the rest of your day or evening wherever you are in the world. Bye.